Okay, today I am going to talk about very basic things. Whenever we are working on an API or microservice or developing a REST API, then one of the very basic fundamental data format which our API or one mic services uh, send or return. So maybe this is the you develop one microservice one, you develop another microservice, okay, another microservice, and they are exchanging data between the microservice in the form of API, REST API. So REST API, we have to transfer data, maybe a record, maybe employee detail, department detail, maybe some invoicing detail. So which the format of the data, which API is changing between the services. So nowadays, most commonly, the format of data, maybe if you are interested, your service one send the data in the form of maybe text format, maybe XML format, maybe JSON format. So nowadays JSON is the more popular, or almost every applications nowadays exchanging or sending or receiving data in the form of JSON. So today we are going to talk very basics. What is the JSON and how we can close or we can use what the library we are need to uh, use them. So let's talk very basics, because this is not too much complex, but very basic. But we should clear. So first, let's talk about the JSON. JSON stands for the JavaScript Object Notation. What do you mean by that? So generally, whenever you are sending data from one service, maybe service A to service B. Okay, so here generally service A, let's we are developing a Python. In the Python, the Python have a concept of object. So generally in the Python, your data in the form of object, maybe employee object, maybe customer object, or maybe detailed different kind of Python object. If you're talking about the Java language, so Java have a own kind of a class model. Similarly, any programming language we are using, where you are going to the send data or exchange data. So generally, the programming language have a concept of object or classes. Okay, so generally these classes are not directly transfer over the network. So what we generally prefer, let us transfer in the specific format that can our application easily understand, the both service, maybe service A and service B. What happens if let's say service A develop in a Python language, service B develop in a Java language, a Go language, different language. So those specific language based application, how understand. So these are some common patterns. Initial days, whenever a web service concept is started, we are generally exchanging data in the form of XML. Before initial times, generally we are sending data in the form of simple text format. So text format data transforming, so very tough on the receiver side to convert or transform those text format data into the object. So near to the your class data, similar kind of a structure defined in initial XML, and nowadays a similar structure in the form of the JSON. The JSON is a JavaScript object notation. These are the very you can say lightweight data format used for storing and transporting data. There are two purposes. Even in your applications, all the informations you can store in the format of JSON. Okay, and once you want to send data, transfer data from one service to a Y service, in this scenario, you can also use this JSON payload. So JSON is a kind of a data format nowadays, famously used to exchanging data between the services, between the servers, between the applications. Okay, and it's a good part. It's easy for the human to read and write. These are very simple things. Writing JSON, reading JSON is very simple, and even easy for the machine to parse and generate. If your application easily can generate the JSON data, your application easily can parse the existing JSON content or maybe an object. You're going to learn how you can read data, JSON data, write JSON data, how parse JSON data. So simplicity, JSON is a very lightweight data format that's used to exchange data between the services, service A, service 2, or between the REST API, between the microservices. Nowadays, almost the, you can say, communication data format JSON is used nowadays between the services. And the plus point, this is a very human readable, and human can easily read and write, even create the JSON format data, and very easy for our applications, our maybe Pythons. We can easily generate the JSON, write the JSON, upload the JSON, transform the JSON, format the JSON. These are the things we can very easily do. Okay, so let's understand the JSON structure would be. So JSON structure look like this way. If let us say we have a one employee detail, and employee detail you want to make a JSON format, just open and close curly braces. This is a one object, you can say this is a one object. An object have a name, this is Smith, age 30, and what the skill they have, skill they maybe know Java, maybe the Python, any other language, maybe it's developer or designer or whatever. So these are the informations if you want to exchange from service A to service B. Okay, so this is the JSON format. So this is a JSON format in any programming language. You can easily understand. You can say easily parse them or easily convert it to the object. This JSON data can easily convert it to the Python object or maybe Java object, maybe Golang object, any other programming language. But almost every programming language directly or indirectly provide the library for the JSON formatting. So let's talk in the Python. Python generally, this is the one object. Object means the one entity or one employee, or one customer, or one department, any object. That generally in Python considered as a key value format. This is the one key and one object, key and value, key and value. Maybe in the similar like a map or dictionary you can say. And whenever we have a set of value, so generally in Pythons we can say the list of value, maybe Python list you can consider. And maybe here a value can be different types, maybe string value, number value, array value, boolean value, or some non value. So all the possible value here we can consider, maybe string, number, boolean. What are the primitive data available in the Python, same we can use here. Okay, so look like here, object considered as your dictionary, and array considered as a list, string considered as a string, number considered maybe integer or float, boolean considered as a bool, and null value considered as a none. So these are the your JSON structure, and these are the corresponding conversion between the Python. So easily the Python object can be converted to the JSON. JSON object easily converted to the Python. So whenever let's go your application A send data to the application B. Application B. So application A, whatever the informations they have, object information, Python object easily converted to the string format and send here. And here you receive the JSON string, and JSON string again converted back to the Python object. So you can say very easily between the services, this JSON data format can convert it to corresponding the Python object. Okay. So if you talk how we can do, so good part is that Python have a built-in module called the JSON. So generally Python always very popular due to the lots of library modules inbuilt provided by the Python. So in the if you want to work on the Python, you don't need to install any third party, like in a case of talk about the Java and other programming language. Maybe we are going to depend upon the any third party library, maybe Google Jackson library or faster library, different library available. Similarly, in the Python, there is a inbuilt means Python library itself provide this module JSON. Just you can say import JSON, and whatever the JSON operation very easily you can perform. The good part for the, if you want to plan to work on a JSON, reading JSON, writing JSON, parsing JSON, everything. So you do not need to install any third-party module. By default, JSON library already given the built-in module for their JSON processing and JSON data reading and writing. Okay, so let's look some couple of example. Okay, let's this is a simple example. Okay. So let's look the simple example. Okay, so here we have one data, JSON data, and here name, age, and everything, skill, everything here. Okay, so this is your simply one JSON data. And if you want to really in a JSON format, okay, and then you can just see the import JSON and dump this data, and now we receive the JSON format of data. If you want to test, simply this is the JSON format of data. So very simple, nothing in a specific. This import JSON library, you can give the JSON data, and they can convert to the JSON string format. And here, whatever the operation you want to perform, you can do. So JSON, this is the JSON third part, our built-in library, and they have provided this already inbuilt dump method. So couple of methods we are going to use here, maybe. Multiple methods have like a dump, load, upload. So we're not going to all the talk, but whenever you are going to work, maybe according to the different use case, we have to use a different method. So lots of methods. Sometimes we are going to use load method, some to loads, multiple files. So there is no you can say need to read any kind of a third party library. Instead, inbuilt one, just import JSON and provide your whatever the string data you have, you are get the JSON object. Okay, so notice these are the JSON object, they return the JSON object for you. Okay. Okay, so let's what happen if you want to print the particular JSON in the specific notice here, whatever the JSON you printing, notice they are in the format of your one line. If you want to proper JSON format, so instead of that, you can simply say, hey, whatever the data you have, JSON dot dump, and provide your data and provide this option indentation. And now if you print here, they are providing the formatted like string. Okay, notice this is the formatted data you can get. If you not pass this value, you are not passing this value, this means by default they are simply returning your simple string representation one liner. Notice this is, if sometime if you want to this way, you can write, or you want to format it, you can just write this way and you can get the formatted data. Sometime you want to just for readability purpose, you can pass this third, fourth, maybe or five. Okay, so notice they have a make some differences. Okay, so this is the way you can print JSON. You can say in the very readable format. You can say sometimes say pretty JSON, right? And let us you are going to writing JSON data. Uh, you can say so. Let us we you have a oh Let us we have a simple, we have a one data, and now you want to store or write JSON object look like. Okay, so that's you can use the dump and provide your data, and they return your JSON form. JSON kind of a string representation. Okay, JSON string representation. Now this is JSON string representation. Okay, if you print data itself, you are getting this way. Notice this is the, be carefully. So here the data here you written look like the same, but if you are going to dump them and then return string representation, so that we can, you can easily pass this data to the any library. Okay, so sometime you want to write JSON format, maybe in a particular variable, so that's you can good. But sometime you want to write this our JSON data not in the variable, maybe you want to write this data into the file. So whatever the your JSON data you have, this is the data you have, and now we have a two option. You can write in the JSON format, maybe is a particular string variable, okay, or any variable, okay, or you want to write this data maybe in a particular file system. Hey, I want they are written JSON in the file. So even you can specify, hey, I want to go write this JSON data in the particular file or particular database, and in different places, whatever you want, right? So those scenario, you can simply say, hey, I want to write data in the data file. So here, what you can say, simply say, hey, whatever the data I have, we are going to write in the file. So you can just open one, maybe whatever name data file, and just say, hey, write, open as a file, and this whatever the data we have, whatever the data, first we dump and the data, and tell the file which file we are going to write. The JSON module, the dump function, take the input, use the data, and write JSON data in the file. And if you run this file, notice that the one is sample file. If you run this, going to make one file that is the data. And if you run here, so notice one file, JSON file created. Notice this is the JSON file created. Sometime you want to store your Python object, like this is a Python dictionary one object, where a key value, key value, key value, and now you want to this Python object should be go into the JSON file. So what do you do? Simply say, hey, just open any file name, and you can say write mode as a file, and just say, hey, JSON dump function, pass the our data and the file, which file you want to write. The JSON library, write your JSON Python object in the JSON format in the JSON file. Okay. So this is the way JSON library provide you can write JSON data maybe to the file, or maybe to the of JSON string itself. So maybe you can write to string, or maybe write to the JSON file. Okay, so let's one things we are know how we can write data in the JSON format. That means now you have a Python object. We have a Python object, Python object. Now we using the JSON library to write the JSON format, maybe in the Python variable, string variable, or maybe we can write in the our file system, JSON file. So both we are using the JSON dump method. Just provide the Python object. So here we are passing the Python object. Here we are passing a Python object, and they are going to write in the particular file. So this is our Python object, and now they are writing Python object into the file that is a JSON format. Similarly, sometime you want to read you can say JSON. Okay. Okay. So maybe just we have a one JSON string, and now you want yeah, if you just read the uh, if you print this print JSON string. This is a JSON string. Here, if you want to get the name of the particular, what is the name? So in this string, it's very tough to figure out what is the name. Here you cannot say dot get name or something. We have to properly. This is the one just string annotation, and in a string I want just make the JSON object so that we can what is the name of this, what is the age, what is the something. So for those, instead of this string, we are going to convert into the uh, Python object. So now you can say, hey, JSON API, load this string, and they return the complete Python object. Now we have this Python object like a dictionary, and here you can access the different field like a name or age or okay, that's age. So different attributes. This is the now map. From map, you can get the name, age, specific value. So now, whatever the string representation JSON we have, we are using the load method and passing our JSON string here. Now we can get the Python object, and from Python object, this is like a map dictionary, and you can specify the key name. You can get the value. Specify the skill. You can get skill. You can specify similarly like skills, you can get the specific skill. You know, specific skill like two. This is array. Okay, so you can say skill dot zero is skill dot one. You can get the specific value with whatever you want. So what the benefit? Benefit is that now you are not going to perform action on the string variable. Instead, you are just converted to the Python object like a dictionary, and from dictionary you are a basic operation get update. What are the maths dictionary option offer? You can do perform. So this loads methods is many places. This is handy for us to perform the JSON operation, right? So similarly, maybe you want to read JSON from, let's say we have some file already file written. Now I want to read a file in the form of your Python object. So here say, hey, let us, we have already one this data file, and I can say, hey, just read this data file. Now we have a Python object, and here Python object you can get, and even you want to maybe print JSON dot dump. Maybe in the formatted format, you can take the formatted. Even you want to get print data dot all the keys, you can get all the keys. Okay, all this key we have, and you want to even a specific value you want, print all the values, you can get all the values. Now we have actually Python object, not the just text file, and here all the name, all the value, even you can print complete items, key and value. Hey, this is the name, age, this is the name is Smith, age 30, and what are the operations you want? A specific value want to only name, you can simply say, hey, print uh, data of name. The specific name you want, the specific age you want, you can get. So that means we are trying to say now your JSON is load from any file, anywhere from a string. So this load function can be work for the file, can be work for the you can say by string variable, and finally you get the Python object, and a Python object lots of easy operations you can do. So now we are not going to work on the string manipulation, just we are work on a Python object. Okay. Even sometime you need parsing the any particular JSON. Okay, JSON provide parsing means converting JSON into the object, right? Now, so here, let us sometimes someone say, hey, we are receiving some response from the API in the form of string. So I want to convert again a Python object, simply JSON load. You pass the complete string representation here, and you get the data. And once you get the data, this is a Python object like a dictionary, and whatever the other operation you can do, very easily you can do. So Python's load functions take your string representation of the JSON, and they return the data. The possible scenario, your JSON, the input is the valid or not valid. Sometimes let's say you are passing something incorrect kind of a JSON representation. So those scenario, maybe you have to getting our input JSON cannot pass. So if your JSON is properly formatted, you are converting string to the Python object. So here same thing, Python parsing is converting JSON into the Python object. Once, why need a Python object? So that we can do easily Python library or object provide lots of operations for us. Okay, maybe you want to get some specific age, a specific value, you can easily convert. But we also ensure that if what happen if our input is not JSON is invalid JSON. Let's some API you receive the JSON, but that not the formatted or not the properly closed, not is the something missing or something. Let's see in this case our missing some closing bracket. So in this scenario, if you are going to say JSON.load, it will fail. How to handle either, how to handle generally whenever you are reading any JSON string content and want to convert to the Python object, you must write in the try block, so that if any exception happens, you can say, hey, something unwanted problem or either happen, at least you will mark, hey, something the exception happened. Notice this is something missing, we are not. So if you are getting the valid JSON, you are getting properly transformed. Well, let's you fix this is that's this uh, invalid. What happened? Let us pass some the valid. Just if this is the valid, that means we have to properly close the bracket. Okay. So if you close the bracket and you will pass the valid, okay, and then here's a print, okay, JSON data. So in this scenario, you are getting the okay, properly JSON read format. Okay, this should be stop. Okay, so notice now if the particular data is a particular well format, well designed, then we are able to properly format them. If something let's like here we are missing something, let's be missing something, and again we run, then you can say, hey, something missing, while the parsing we are getting some exception. So whenever you are using the JSON load and passing some string representation, so this will may be throw exception, because it depends upon the input. If input is the valid, they properly converted your JSON to the Python object. If the input is not valid, invalid, in this scenario this is invalid, that this is the invalid, in this scenario say, hey, if this is invalid scenario, say, hey, this is not the scenario, we're not going to the convert proper Python object. So we ensure that whenever we are kind of doing any kind of JSON parsing, please ensure that you have to properly handle the exception. Okay, so these are the very basics, you can say, kind of operations we have. So whatever the string representation JSON we have, JSON kind of a string. Okay, whatever JSON we have, whatever the JSON we have, JSON generally we have a key and kind of a value, key value, key value, key value, key value, key value things, and this key value we can easily using the JSON library parse, you can convert your Python object. Python object. Once we have Python object, we can easily perform all the operations which the Python object has. Whenever you have Python object and you want to convert to the JSON, also we have a library to dump the Python object that they convert the string. So sometime you want to load, means we are parsing, dumping means we are converting Python object to the dictionary. So here we are these are the methods we are converting to whenever we have a dump pass the complete this Python object and you are converting here. So these are the some basics point which I have for the day, but this is the very basic. If you at least you should aware whenever your API are going to responding, okay. So generally our API work on format of JSON. So whenever a response happen between the API, okay, so their communication happen in the format of a JSON. Okay, so generally if service A is working on a Python language, so they are working on a Python object. Okay, Python object. So all the operation you are doing a Python object. Now you want to call the your API, and this API receive here. So instead of passing Python object, we are passing the JSON. So here we converting the JSON. So whatever the Python object, you can convert easily in the JSON. Okay, JSON. Now JSON transport to come here. Maybe they receive the JSON. They receive the JSON. From JSON, they can easily again convert maybe Python object or the Java object or any other service. So easily the Python object can be converted to the JSON. A JSON object can again convert it to the Python very easily is in the JSON inbuilt library. So whenever you are sending data, converting to the Python, receiving data, again converting to the Python object. So this is the way API communication happen with a very simplified way. The good part, they have an inbuilt library available in the in the Python module. So that is the point which I have for the day. Thank you.